Hi, I'm Jessica Lee, and you're listening to T-1NE Radio.
Hello, you're listening to T-1NE Radio, Pittsburgh's eclectic, positive, and underground Christian radio. I'm Hezreel Robertson, the host of All Things Jazz, and I am very excited to be with jazz vocalist Jessica Lee. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, just came off a performance, so I'm still high from that. Yeah, in a good way.
That's always good. So the first question that I had for you today is, I understand that I read a little bit about your philosophy on music, and it's study and perform something old, something new, something borrowed, but always blue. I take that as your philosophy for kind of music, but is it also about life and kind of what does that mean?
You know what? First of all, I think you are the first person who's interviewed me who has gone right to the heart, like, of who I am. And so I think you're genius. But that's the first thing. Wow. That is a quote of mine. And I think, yes, it applies to music and it applies to life, both, because I think when the music is the best, it's truly sincere and about life from the heart. Something old, something old. Nothing new really can be great unless we stand on the shoulders of the people who went before us.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
And so something old, if some people say, oh, it's old, don't do it.
Right.
I say it's old. Why is a standard a standard? Because it's great. And everybody's to have played it and sung it through the years. And so something old, I really value legacy and those who have gone before us. Something old, something new. Also, try something new. Try to put your own spin on things.
Yeah.
Say it how you would say it, not how somebody else would say it.
Right.
Be influenced by people, but don't copy them. Be yourself.
Yes.
Something new. If you feel like writing, co-writing, do that too.
Right.
Something borrowed. I think that we borrow more from others than we think we do.
Yes.
And I think that, I don't know if you've ever heard people say, well, I'm just a pure original,
Right.
Again, it kind of goes back to the concept of being influenced by people and borrowing the good things, taking the good things, the inspirational things, the positive lessons from the interviews of people who have gone before you, borrow their wisdom. I try to borrow what's worked for them to keep them on a path that goes upwards rather than downwards, because I don't think we stay the same.
Right, no.
We're going up or we're going down.
I definitely
moving forward.
agree.
So I think borrowing the positive things that have inspired people to stay on a path upwards and forwards. So upwards and onwards rather than moving backwards. And then blue. I really believe in my heart that our American music is built on the blues, right? So when you think about music, you got to study the blues, and you have to bring that, whatever it says to you, the blues, bring that to your music, right? If it's jazz, especially, and I always like to hear a blues influence in my jazz. That's my favorite kind of jazz. But in life, I wake up every day and I don't expect this world to be heaven.
Right. Yeah.
I wake up this day and I say, this is not heaven. So do I have the blues? Yes, I do, because I'm not in heaven right now.
Yeah.
That truth then leads me to another question. Am I going to be part of the light, or am I going to become part of the darkness today?
Okay.
And so understanding we're in a place that has a mixture of light and darkness, good and bad, evil and wonderful good. What are we going to contribute to today? And so I try my best every day to say, this is a tough place sometimes down here on earth, and I'm going to do my best to contribute to the positive, unconditional, loving energy, in this universe. And I believe, really, the blues is not, some people think it's all sad.
Right.
You ever listen to blues?
Yeah.
It's joyful, right? I mean, we're singing out our blues so that we can get some joy to follow, sing them out, and do the best we can. So that's kind of like looking at life with a straight-eyed view,
Right.
that there's good and there's bad both. And I look at it as an inspiration to try to help those who are struggling. Mahalia Jackson, one of my favorite songs of hers was, If I Can Help Somebody. She says, if I can help somebody, then my living will not be in vain. And so I think the blues is an inspiration to look at life with straight eyes and to try to do better every day and help others who are struggling every day.
What got you so in love with jazz, and how does that how is that connected with your philosophy?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was born into this world with really no jazz around me. A lot of people come into musical families like you guys, right? Everybody's singing and playing things, and the Johnsons, and I didn't have that. I really didn't have that as a kid. But what I had as a kid was this innate love, actually, for African American music. I love blues, I love Motown, and I just was drawn to it for whatever reason, listened to a lot of it, and I began playing music very, very early. Like at 5 years old, I began playing piano and singing. And church was a big influence for me as well, church music and gospel music. When I went to college, though, this older, for a college student older, he wasn't old at the time, but for a college student, older African-American gentleman in a suit walked into a practice room of mine at Duke University in the evening. I was just playing piano and singing. He walked in, he took my music away. I was playing at the piano. He took the music away and said, "Now play and sing something." I said, "Sir, I'm sorry, I was trained classically. I'm not for sure what to do or what you're getting at.
Okay.
Who are you?" It was Paul Jeffrey, the head of the jazz department at the time, the beautiful horn player, saxophone player. And he really became a mentor to me in an unknowing way, in part. He gave me my first tape of Sarah Vaughan.
Okay.
And I just listened to it. I was mesmerized. I was beyond mesmerized. I was bitten. I was obsessed with this tape. It was a cassette tape because it was back when I was in college, and I just put it in my little car in North Carolina, an air-conditioned car, and listened to it for 3 years. Wow. I just wanted to soak up every nuance of what she was doing, and I started to take jazz piano lessons and jazz improv vocal lessons, and just go out to the jazz clubs encouraged by Paul Jeffries to do that and listen and hear and learn. And I really, at that point, like right when he gave me that tape of Sarah Vaughan, I was kind of getting a little bit bored with what I was doing musically.
Yeah.
Just at that point, like at a crossroads.
Yeah.
And then when I heard all of this jazz singing and jazz music, I thought to myself, I'll never be bored because there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
And so it was just it presented a beautiful journey, and also a journey to encourage you to be exactly who you are, uniquely who you are. So I really fell in love with that in North Carolina.
Okay.
And our own Mary Lou Williams, piano player from Pittsburgh, went down there and has a Mary Lou Williams Center at Duke. And so there's kind of a Pittsburgh connection even to where I was sitting.
Where do you see jazz going? I know that you have a jazz network that you're using, and I know you do some other community work, and you use jazz, but where do you see it going, and how do you feel like you can help it reach there?
It's a great question. That's a great question. I think, when I look at a lot of individual artists and watch them grow from young to old, a lot of them, interestingly enough, they explore spirituality in different ways as they age. Maybe their first kind of songs are really about this world and certain things about money or status or relationships.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people move more into the zone of spirit. I think jazz as well, I hope, continues to move into the realm of spirit. And in a sense, for some people, jazz has become, what chord changes are you using? You know what I mean? Are you using extensions? Therefore, it's jazz.
Right.
Are you using, is jazz standards? Is it the type of song that you're singing that happens to be in a jazz real book?
Yeah, okay.
They define jazz that way. Some people will define jazz, and I'm probably more in this camp, as it's not really any of that, or it's purely improv. Some people, it's only improv. Frank Sinatra wasn't really a jazz singer because he didn't scat so much. Some people are in that camp. I'm really not there at all. Where I am with jazz is that I hope that all singers and musicians have the courage, and I hope I do, to play and sing exactly what we hear. Play and sing exactly what we hear. And I believe that as we grow, if you have that deep faith, I do, that God is part of everything. It's a miracle that we're sitting here today, right, together, because the earth is rotating really quickly on its axis and spinning around the sun, and gravity's holding us here together. It's a miracle that we're even here. The openness to spirit, to say I'm going to hear something that I might not expect, or I might expect, and just sing it with a certain attitude in a certain way, but take it from the unheard and the unseen realm, spirit, the realm of spirit, into our world, the world of the sensory world, and allow that to guide you, right? The spirit to guide you, whatever that is. Whatever that is. When I say hello to you tomorrow, maybe hello. Today I say, hey. It's different how I say hello. So to me, that's part of what jazz is being willing to be totally honest and totally sincere about what you're hearing in the moment and present that.
Okay.
Even when your ego says that's not hip.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not hip. Who cares? Who cares? It's about being that honest and that sincere and that courageous. If jazz continues to go that way, hey, I don't think people can resist it, you know?
Yeah.
And I hope people continue also to write vocal jazz. Because I know a lot of jazz has become more, you know, well known on the instrumental side.
Right.
And we had so many great jazz singers back when.
Right.
You know, and I hope that people continue to write those beautiful, beautiful songs as well, you know. So, and they will. It won't die. But I think if it comes from that honest spiritual place, that's where I hope, you know, continues to go and grow from.
Right.
Yep.
With that being said, I want to add one more question.
Yeah.
I know that you're a Christian.
Yes.
So, how has it been with you being performing jazz? You know, I know you perform in clubs and things like that. How has it been with you being a Christian and being in these environments?
Yes.
You know, and still saying, yes, I am a Christian, and affirming it.
Yeah. I think I sing in church. I sing in churches, you know. When I sing jazz out, the messages are faith, hope, and love in the music. If you really look at it, faith, hope, and love, it's all through the music, right? And when you say, what is God? God is love. It's very simple to me. And so to me, out in the clubs, yeah, you want to avoid like the over drinking.
Right.
You don't want to be drugging. You need to avoid serious temptations that are all around you, actually, all around you. You have to, but if you're strong enough, you stay close to God and you avoid those temptations, you can deliver God's spirit and God's messages to people who might not yet be drawn to church. You know, to people who might need to hear that, to hold on for another day. So I look at jazz, the way I look at jazz and the messages I look to sing, actually, as putting faith, hope, and love out there, you know, through another channel. That's all. And I believe truly, what is God? God is love. I believe that.
If you could say anything to an aspiring young artist coming up who's looking to, you know, really achieve their goals and reach their dreams, what would you say?
I would say, really follow your heart. Keep following your heart all the way through your journey, because certain things may change. You know, you may be passionate about a certain thing and then it changes. God speaks to us, I think, through our passion, through our interests, but it's our job to work really, really hard to develop our talents and our skills. Really, really hard work, so that we can really honor those passions by performing in an excellent way. We're never going to be perfect, but we can be excellent, right? So that hard work, and I would say do it for reasons other than money, truly.
Yes.
Money may follow. Money may
Right.
follow, right? But if you're doing it just for the money and the fame, like, it's not why you should do it. It won't sustain you. It won't
It's not
feed your
fulfilling.
art. It won't, you know. So I would say to them, even if you don't get money and fame in this lifetime, because many of us may not get a ton of money or a ton of fame, but still do it. Still do it, because it's so worth putting that wonderful music and the wonderful messages out there. You don't know who you will impact either in this life, or if you leave recordings behind, you don't know who you will impact in another life. So I think a lot of artists are richer after they die. You know, they catch on, and right? But it's about, to me, this world needs love, right? This world needs healing. This world needs compassion. Our music can bring the faith, the hope, the love, the compassion, the healing. And so I would tell the young artists, it's worth all the hard work. It's worth the sacrifice. And, you know, all the things that are money, the fame, oh, I like to drink and get a buzz, or do drugs and get, you know, all those quick, like, I want those quick satisfaction kind of things. They're just nothing. If you push through that and you push for the bigger things, to give people something,
Yeah.
Give them something that they can take home and have more hope and have a higher energy and have a little more faith. That'll come back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
Tenfold, 20-fold. And your life will be so great and so rich. So just don't do it just for the money. That's what I would say. The other reasons, they're very worthwhile reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Miss Lee, for being with us here on T-1NE Radio. You've been listening to T-1NE Radio, Pittsburgh's eclectic, positive, and underground Christian radio. This is all things jazz. Thank you.